Hi, this is Shauna, and I want to welcome you to Living in This Space. Real talk, because hey, we're all just living in this space we call life, right? It's messy, it's hard, and sometimes it's the most joyous thing we can experience. I want you, my listener, to have a place where the conversation is real and honest. I hope we can spend this time together, validating, sharing, and experiencing all the feels together with whatever topic is on the agenda for the day. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome back. Well, if you're just tuning in, I am going to be going through a series of episodes talking about a tool that I use in my coaching business. This tool is called a Wheel of Life. Now, some of you may have done a wheel exercise and you're already familiar with what we're talking about. But for those of you who aren't, stop for just a moment and picture in your mind a wheel on a bicycle. That wheel will have spokes that support the actual rim that the tire that you're riding on sits on. The Wheel of Life looks very similar. It has a center and then spokes that extend to the outer ring. And each section of those spokes represents an area of our lives that we are either thriving in or that we may need a bit of attention in. During this 12-episode series, we are going to be briefly talking about an area of the wheel of life that I use. Now, the spokes on my wheel are healthy boundaries, self-belief and identity, positive emotions, belief system, your faith, relationships and connections, accomplishments and achievements, dreams and goals, engagement, growth mindset, self-care, time management, and resilience. Now, to the extent to which we are thriving and flourishing in life is a large degree based on the choices that we're making every day and how we're doing in each one of these areas that I just mentioned. So, as we go through each area, I want you to think about where you may be along the scale of 1 to 10. And while it's probably not possible to be thriving at all times in each area, we certainly have daily opportunities to steadily and intentionally move that number a little bit farther toward a 10 and gain a much greater sense of well-being, satisfaction, and enjoyment in our lives. Now, if you've missed the previous episodes in this series, I want to encourage you to go back and listen from the beginning, starting with episode 31. Today, we are going to be focusing on the next spoke of that wheel, and that's positive emotions. I took a quick Google of positive emotions, and these are some of the listed positive emotions that I found online: joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, pride, amusement, inspiration, awe, and love. There are many more, and I'm sure you may have even thought of some. Maybe some came to mind as I was listing these. But hopefully, you have a good idea of what we're going to be talking about today. Listeners, when we are experiencing more positive emotions in our lives, we're much more likely to thrive and flourish than those who may be dwelling more on the negative. I think we tend to look for the good in life when we are more positive focused. We see humanity in a different light when we're focused on the positive rather than always being on the lookout for something negative or even assuming the worst. Research suggests that having a positive outlook can significantly benefit our physical health. That's important, isn't it? Positive emotions can possibly lower your blood pressure, reduce your risk of heart disease, and help to maintain a more positive emotional outlook. It can also help to fight a host of other health-related issues. Our bodies and minds are not separate, and when one is off, our whole body starts to react. Having a chronic negative attitude and walking around with negative emotions can cause digestive issues, headaches, anxiety, fatigue, and can also cause issues in our personal relationships. So, when negative emotions arise, it's important to stop and examine them, to be curious about them, because they are a part of being human, and we want to discover what's causing them so that we can address them more productively. Have you ever been around someone who's always negative? I mean, they always seem to find the worst in people or situations, or they just bring you down and make you feel yucky when you're around them. I think we end up trying to avoid these people in our lives because of how it makes us feel to be around them. This is where you're going to want to use your healthy boundaries and set space or time limits for being around people like this in your life. And then we have the polar opposite of a negative person, and that's someone who is more of a Pollyanna type personality. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. I think I would rather spend my days with someone who is more of a Pollyanna than a negative Nelly. But honestly, they can be almost as exhausting sometimes because their optimism usually sides with full-blown denial of a particular circumstance or life event. You know, sweet listeners, there are going to be many situations in life in which the emotion of sadness or grief is the most appropriate reaction or emotion to share with someone. A shallow, constant cheerfulness or rainbow and sunshine outlook is usually based on denial, and it's not always appropriate. So somewhere on the positive emotion scale is where we should strive to be on most days. We don't want to lean too far over to the negative Nelly, and we don't want to lean too far over to the Pollyanna. We want to be somewhere in the middle of the two. Whether we choose to dwell on the negative or live in unrealistic optimism or focus on the positive in our lives in a healthy way is a large degree our choice. It can be a goal we set each morning to find something in our day that's positive, to look for one thing in each person we meet that we can recognize as a positive attribute. Now, this is not always going to be realistic, but just having the goal to start your day out this way in a much more positive fashion feels really good. As I wrap up, think about how you generally move through your day. You know, we're all going to experience both negative and positive emotions and events in our lives. But sweet listeners, it is so much more important to focus more attention on the positive rather than spiraling down and ruminating in the negative. So, as we close, I hope that you are living your most amazing life and looking for something positive in your day each and every day. Hey, thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit follow wherever you get your podcast. And until next time, I hope you live in your space well, my friends.